What is going on? It is the Dynasty Pulse weekend warm-up, week 7. We are here. We've got Schulte, Chev, and Coach Retzlaff here. And Biggs isn't around. He's at a concert, but we're going to move on
Wait, a
without him.
concert? I thought he was ruffling around in drawers somewhere.
Well, yeah, he's always ruffling around in drawers. Whether they're his or somebody else's, we're not sure. But we're going to hit this intro up, Schulte. Let's rock this show out. Yeah, welcome into the Dynasty Pulse on the Undroppables and the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We are here, and we are ready to warm up week 7 and got a lot of storylines. We've got a lot of stock up, stock downs, and it's going to be a great show, and we are here for you all. So what's going on? We'll start with you, Schulte. What's happening tonight?
Hey, I'm here. We are here. I'm doing good. Excited for another episode.
Yeah. What about you, Coach? How's it going, man?
It's great. It's crazy. We're going into week 7. Pretty soon it'll be mid-year. And when you think about where we are calendar-wise, the beginning of January does not seem far-fetched one bit. And it's just crazy because we were just in, the midpoint of the summer. So, hey, love and life every week.
Yeah. Chev, what's going on, buddy?
Well. It'd be a lot better if Jamar Chase didn't drop touchdowns and stuff. But, that's why we're on this whole campaign of Puka's the wide receiver 1 now. Hopefully he has the proper motivation.
Chev was conducting that train for sure.
Yeah.
Jason's around as well. Adding some spice to this mix. I love it. And I got a couple storylines. So let's get into it. A ton happening here in the NFL and in fantasy. So let's talk about Jaxson Dart. And he's rocketing up in the top 10 conversation after his historic rookie start, making serious case to be considered a top 10 quarterback for the rest of the season and beyond. What is going on in Dynasty and just 3 NFL starts? This rookie is all rewriting the franchise books now. 58 rushing yards last week in a rare win over their NFC rival, and strong connection with fellow Cam Skattebo. They are bringing a new awesome attitude to this New York club, and not mean to mention they are without Malik Neighbors. Just think of the future they could have from a dynasty perspective. Dart's combination of athleticism, vision, and leadership, plus his early success, makes him a prime candidate for a lockdown high-end QB spot for years to come. I've got him at my QB7. That's right, behind elite arms like Allen, Daniels, Hurts, Mahomes, May. I got him ahead of Burrow right now. What are your thoughts, Coach, with Dart's early performance and rushing upside? How hard are you ranking him in Dynasty? And do you see him as this duo sustaining their breakout chemistry into long-term fantasy powerhouses?
I am Dr. Dikembe, you down. No, this isn't happening. But I love Jaxson Dart, but he's more like Jackson Fart when you put it that way. I just have to say, the name that you're sorely missing, because the guys that you had mentioned, you're like, hey, I've got Jaxson Dart here, and these are the names. All respect to the names that you dropped. A little bit disrespectful when it gets into the Joe Burrow thing, but at the same time, if you want time value of money, time value of the player, I can see that based on the injury. If you have some trepidation on the injury front, sure, but game for game, you line up today, tomorrow, healthy, full health. You talk about the Puka Nacua and the Jamar Chase dynasty argument. Line them up fully healthy. I know who I'm choosing. I'm going to go Joe Burrow. But let's talk about. I want to give some propaganda to Caleb Williams. So you got to put him ahead of Jaxson Dart here. From NFL Pro, listen to this stat. And Mike, you'll love this as you're a Patrick Mahomes truther. You love him. He's your guy. I mean, who isn't, right? He's just so good. He's your Chiefs quarterback. He's your savior. Caleb has 29 touchdowns to 8 interceptions in his NFL career. 98 quarterbacks, 600 pass attempts. Only Patrick Mahomes has a better touchdown pass ratio to interception ratio than Caleb Williams. So just let that sink in. All right, we're going to take that sink and bring it through the door because that's what's happening. All right, 20.8 fantasy points per game, ranks 8th. 4th in red zone carries per game, 108 rushing yards for Caleb. So he's on a cool track for 400 yards. It's what we got out of Bo Nix last year. 7th in air yards per attempt. So that connection with Rhamondre is tight. You have 2nd in play action rate are the Bears. Love that from Ben Johnson. Love the fantasy points that we get from play action. 5th in deep ball attempts. Team pass per play. The Bears are 15th. So middle of the pack. I'd like to see that increase. 3 top 12 games in 5 games played with a QB1 overall performance. So I have to just push back on what you're saying with the players where you stopped it. You could go down just a little bit more, and I wouldn't be mad at you at all for parking somebody like Jaxson Dart, maybe at that borderline back end QB1 range. Sure, fine, good, well, and dandy. Although Daniel Jones is playing himself excellently high into that mark. But 2 names besides Caleb Williams that have come to mind as well. Baker Mayfield, possible MVP and QB4 on the season in fantasy. And then Justin Herbert, what he's been doing, pass rate over expectation goodness in fantasy football. So I like where your head's at on the vision, the optimism for Jaxson Dart. I just think it's too close to the sun. So I would park him behind at least those 3, in addition to the names that you had mentioned.
Chev?
Where do you have Drake Maye?
Me right now?
Wait, Drake Maye's ahead, please.
Yeah, Drake Maye is ahead of that. Sorry, yeah, I had Drake Maye in there as well. I had Drake Maye as 5. Yeah, Drake Maye is my 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're getting a little over our skis here, but again, in one of the multiverses, future Chev whispered to me and said that once Jaxson Dart, I have the timestamp. I said it on October 2nd. Once Jaxson Dart beats the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, we're going to be having discussions about him being a top 10 quarterback in the same category as Drake Maye. Thank you, future Chev.
What happens, future Chev, when he beats the Denver Broncos in a similar fashion this week? That's a possibility now. I mean,
he is about to get baptized this weekend.
Yeah, well, that's what Schulte thinks.
Fire.
I agree. Yeah,
burn it with fire.
This is going to be
and then you kill it again. Let me cook here. So you have the Denver Broncos who are on pace to have the most sacks ever. Okay, I've got Vance Joseph. He's a seasoned veteran. He's been around the block a time or two. And you just saw him have troubles with another brilliant defensive mind, despite being one of the most ashamed head coaches and men doing like cat call or cat dog in public in a stadium.
I know a head coach who does some cat calls, by the way.
Yeah. Brandon Staley already befuddled Jaxson Dart. So, he has an elite rushing floor, potentially. He could have a Drake Maye, Caleb Williams-esque rushing floor, but he has no passing ceiling right now today. So, eventually, the luck is going to run out. I do think he's going to be a really good quarterback, and I think that he's already the most valuable quarterback in his class because of his legs. And when he gets Malik Neighbors back, I could see a world where I could make him top 15. But yeah, if you're sending Jaxson Dart to get on a contender, to get a guy like, Jared Goff, or I saw a trade. We all saw the trade the other day, Joe Burrow for Jaxson Dart. Like that's things that people are doing.
Stuff and things.
Like honestly, if I could send Jaxson Dart and get Sam Darnold in a first, why wouldn't I do that?
Oh man, I'm
Like
taking
Sam Darnold,
the rushing upside here, dude.
how much more? What's the rushing upside? Bo Nix?
No, I think it's higher than Bo Nix. I think
What-
it's
what?
upwards of Josh Allen upside
Like
rushing.
Josh Allen?
Yeah, absolutely.
So 500 yards and you're banking on double-digit touch. The difference between Josh Allen and Bo Nix or Caleb Williams is about 60 yards.
So I was gonna say yardage-wise, I think
he could average about 700 a year, and that puts him easy in a top 10 conversation.
It's possible, but also that brings us into the injury discussion. He's gonna be running around. Like that changes this. Like I think we're far out over our skis, and Jeremiah was much more eloquent about that than I'm being right now. But I genuinely believe that we're just a little far out over our skis. I think he's a top 15 quarterback. I think you're already seeing a return on investment because you can get more than either early second or late first round pick that you spent to get him. And that's a win in Dynasty. And I think that even if you sold, you wouldn't be selling at its potential peak. But also, QB7, get off my lawn, please.
I'm on
it. I'm peeing all over that lawn, man. I'm telling you, like, maybe I'm ahead, but
okay.
I think we're talking about him in the first 2 rounds of a Dynasty startup next year, for sure.
Wait, what you need to do though, and we saw a 1-for-1, which was bizarre. Dart for yes, thank you. Please keep going, T. Higgins. Yes. All right, this is excellent. What you see, perfect. What you're saying, Mike. Okay, this is my excitement for Drake Maye preseason, and I felt great about it. My call was Drake Maye is going to join the tier of Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts, right behind our big 3 of Daniels, Lamar, and Josh Allen. Now, of course, Patrick Mahomes has put himself back up there, but Drake Maye has made his company there. So, Mike, if you feel that way where you're saying, hey, top 7 in that clump, in that tier, you got Jaxson Dart, and a lot of people are thinking that way, what you need to do is have that excitement. And when you're trying to acquire, you try and acquire down to Jaxson Dart. If you are selling Joe Burrow for Dart, you need to work on that plus. That's where people have to have that dynasty discipline to, hey, if I have my take, like Mike, I like where your head's at in the aggression on the take of, hey, you're thinking kind of he's right there now. But I think what you should be thinking is he's going to be there then later. But with that said, if you already feel that way now, take advantage of the price point now for later. And you need to be getting a lot more of a plus. And not saying that you wouldn't, Mike, but dynasty gamers need to be making sure that they practice that, like on the front end right now. Do it now. If you feel this conviction that Dart is going to rise into that elevate tier, by all means, sell and get that plus that you absolutely believe in.
I don't need to acquire him because I have him everywhere because I've been on him. And
humble brag.
And you know what? I was getting him at the end of the first round when people were picking I was getting Skattebo, I was getting Jaxson Dart, and I was getting Emeka Ibuka left, right, and center, and I'm reaping the benefits now. So I'm going to reap the benefits when Jaxson Dart is a top 10 quarterback headed into next year. Let me rip it. Let's go to the next one. All right. JSN emerging as the Dynasty wide receiver 1. He's lighting up the offense, and week 6 performance against the Jags, 162 yards and a touchdown, 13 targets. What's happening here there, Schulze? From a Dynasty perspective, the question is, how high can we push him? Is he wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3? Where is he in your rankings right now?
Not that high, I'll tell you that. Like, I still think it's the big 4. Jamar, Puka, JJ, CD. Like, I still think that's the big four. But I think the tier right below that, you got three guys, and it's JSN, Amon-Ra, and Malik Neighbors in that 5 to 7. And those are I'm very comfortable slotting Jackson Smith and Jigba into this spot. I mean, coming out this season, he's first in the league in target share, 36%. He's second in the league in target rate. He's first in air yards. He's first in first downs per route run. He's first in yards per route run. He's first in fantasy points per route run. He has done nothing but dominate every time he stepped on the field. You look at his weekly finishes, it's wide receiver 11, wide receiver 13, wide receiver 8, wide receiver 25, which came on a short week in kind of a weird game in Arizona. And some people might complain about, well, he's been a fringe guy, wide receiver 1, 2. He's never had the ceiling here. And then he caps it off with 2 wide receiver 3 weeks in a row. So, I mean, zero hesitation putting him in this second tier of guys. I mean, 79 yards is his lowest output. I don't think it's a stretch to say he might be the best route runner in the league. He's going to get himself open. Sam Darnold's been great. Like, he's been a great resurgence. It's a great story. But when you look at these other dudes, we got Chase is tied to Burrow. Puka's on a Rams offense that's been high flying, throwing the ball a ton. Same with CD on the Cowboys. Like, they're always just going to air it out. Like, there's just no questions about things like that. And in the Seattle offense, they do want to try and run the ball, but they have Sam Darnold at quarterback. So I don't know. It's just like the stuff around him is not as elevated as these other top tier receivers, and he's still putting up these numbers. So, yeah, man, I don't have any concerns about him. It's crazy that an injury his last year of college pushed that many people off, and a little bit of a slow start coming back from that injury pushed people off again. But, I mean, shoot, we are seeing the complete package, the real deal. It's years to come for this guy. His game is going to age like wine.
Jeremiah, where do you have him in your dynasty rankings right now?
Are you talking about JSN?
JSN, yeah.
Yeah, I put him right up there. I mean, why can't he be 6? You know, why can't he be up there, approaching that top 5?
Chev,
Time
where do you
value
have
of money too, especially. Sorry, one last with Malik Neighbors being hurt. You know, if you're parking Emeka Buka JSN up in that tier near him, I think it's absolutely fair just for the fact that you're getting time value. And hey, if you want to trade back into, you can. Yeah, keep going.
Chev, where do you have him?
He's in the second tier. It would be him, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the tier for me.
Yeah, fair.
That
And
he would be at the head of the tier. I said earlier in the week, if I could take JSN and turn him into Drake London and potentially like a first, depending on how thirsty somebody is for, Drake for JSN, like that's the type of move that I'm making, because you're moving around in the tier, but you're acquiring capital. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. Hey, this is a sell point for JSN, just based on like you can move in the tier and still get really awesome stuff. Like Drake London, now that he's back from the little shoulder injury or whatever, we're talking about a guy back-to-back 100-yard games, 8 catches, 10 catches. He's had 2 15-target games, right? Like, we're talking about splitting hairs here in terms of value. Light-skin Al-Gaib, the battle for light-skin Al-Gaib, because JSN came out of nowhere. And it's like, hey, there can only be one. And so now we're talking about JSN in the same tier. Whereas before the season, I feel like this was like, hey, if we got another step forward, that would be awesome. Whereas people were already there with Drake London, and now they're in the same tier, and you could potentially turn JSN into first round capital and Drake London. So this is a great point for JSN, and it could continue to go up. If he finishes as a wide receiver 1, then he is now in that same tier as Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson to me. And I honestly could move Justin Jefferson down a tier, but I feel like that would be being too reactionary, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's kind of where I have him.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just really crowded, and it's almost like there's kind of like how we had more first rounders than first round slots in our redrafts. You have more of these top 5 guys. I mean, you throw Rashee Rice in there, and you're like, oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
our machine. Yeah, it's crowded.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And he could be, right now, he's garnering like an insane target share, which I don't think is going to be sustainable, or they want to sustain that forever, right? I mean, that's going to come down on a dynasty landscape,
no, why, Mike?
I was going to say, I don't think it has to.
No.
40%.
Mike, this structure of offense, this passing tree supported Julio Jones in a 160 target season. Pierre Garçon got like 140 targets one time.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, like there's no reason for them to decrease the passing volume. And like it's amalgamated into something a little bit different. And they're doing a little bit more 12 personnel and stuff, but it's just there's no reason to think that he's going to stop being hyper targeted. It's just this is just where we are now.
Yeah. The only thing that could drop this, and we can amalgamate, great word, Chev. The only thing that could drop this and flip it on its head, and no one wants to talk about it. I don't even know if I should speak it into existence on a podcast because of the possibility. It would be, ironically, if Sam Darnold got hurt, Jalen Milroe steps in, it would mess up a lot of that top tier trajectory. It would be, you get great junk volume. It'd be like Matt Castle still throwing to Randy Moss, who would still be very good, except the ball in stride would be the ball down here or behind. It wouldn't be quite the same. That would throw things way off on the offense were that to happen. So if you're a JSN fan, you really need to be, even if he's not on your team, a Sam Darnold fan.
So then you got to consider, like, you guys are talking me into putting him in that elite tier then, because if that target share isn't going anywhere and he's going to put up Julio Jones numbers like he's putting up, why are we not putting him in that conversation with Jamar Chase and Malik Neighbors and Puka Nacua and have it at tier number 1? That's.
I think it's the same reason Chev is hesitant to drop JJ out is the reactionary stuff. I mean, we've been guilty of it as well. Like the Jaxson Dart take is a little reactionary. We came on this program and we guzzled JJ McCarthy for playing one quarter of good football, and he turned around and just absolutely stunk the next week. So, like, yeah, it's hesitancy to be reactionary.
I'm not reactionary on 3 years
may I real quick? So again, Jeremiah's point was, hey, if you're sure that and you are convinced, then you need to buy as much Jaxson Dart at the price point and overpay to where you can get like a 90% acceptance, because that's gonna amortize and turn into, hey, Jaxson Dart's a top five dynasty quarterback, and then you could then turn, either if he turns into a top 5 dynasty quarterback, then success. And then you just have a top 5 dynasty quarterback. But if it increases from what you pay to just where he's top 10 and you could turn that into more than what you paid, then you still won. And I think with JSN, you would have to still pay premium prices to get. He's not in that tier. You can't get that price point for him yet. You can't send JSN and get Jamar Chase straight up yet. So, like that's, you might be able to do Justin Jefferson right now, but again, I feel like that would be being reactionary. Justin Jefferson just had 7 catches for 120 yards the last time, and is quite literally the leader in yards per game all time. So, I mean,
I think the bubble just gets bigger of what's at tier one imports.
Correct.
And
not a sponsor.
You don't shovel up and down. You just make a bigger boat?
Yeah.
Because it could be
honestly, that might be the answer. It's just the wide
you need a
receiver
yacht
position.
now.
Yeah, there's more seats in the elite room. You know, I was gonna say on the island, but I was like, oh, we don't need to talk about islands anymore. So
especially not ones that start with E.
Right. That's what I was like. Oh no, there's illusion. That's where my brain was. Anyway, like I think that there may just end up being more guys in that elite tier. Because I mean, at the beginning of the year for me, it was just Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb in the elite tier. Now it's like Puka's got to be in there, right? Like we've just seen him be too awesome at football for too long to keep him out. But I didn't even mention Rashee Rice, who could very easily, like, Rashee Rice could light the world on fire. Again, you don't really know how a team feels about somebody until they're not there. And you got everybody being like, yeah, we're not trading for a wide receiver. We have Rashee Rice. It's like, oh, so they think he's elite, but you're like, oh, is he going to be battling? But I didn't even mention him, and he should be probably in this tier 2 with Drake London and JSN. Honestly. Malik Neighbors would be in a tier, like you would have to break it up a little bit if Malik Neighbors was healthy, but when he's not healthy, his price is depressed. So all I'd say, JSN is elite. He could be, I mean, this target share isn't going away, I don't think.
It also might happen where, okay, let's say you got Chase, Jefferson, Puka, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, JSN, Rhamondre, Emeka Puka, Drake London. Like, talk dirty to us, right? Rashee Rice, even down, it's not quite there. This is where you start feeling a little bit of a tear down, and these guys are filthy. BTJ and Nico Collins. I didn't even get into Tedrow McMillan. Right. So it just really comes down to, you have to understand, in Dynasty, chances are you're going to have to pump the brakes, and there's just not going to be liquidity here either, because as Chev was alluding to, where he was talking about JSN for London in a first. I kind of think it might be, you can move JSN for Nico in a first. I think you would have because the Drake London truthers are just like, hey, you know what? At a certain point, you just have the guys on your roster, because part of this is playing this game to be fun or portfolio manage. And if your portfolio manage is, hey, I have Drake London, you're not really moving off those because you want to see that through. It just ends up kind of becoming, I want my guy. Like if I've got CeeDee Lamb, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to give him up for JSN. And in the machinations of a second or a third, most people aren't likely to entertain, because there's gridlock at the top in that sense, where you're like, I'm just going to roll with my guy who I have. And I think that's what is so fun about this conversation, is because now you're expanding because how could you trade away Justin Jefferson?
Right.
And then live on you'd rather just live with what you have than go with what you think you absolutely know, but at the same time you want to go with what you already know. And It's a champagne problem, and it's a great problem. And I think it's salient, Mike, that you put in JSN to this conversation, because that stirs the pot on this expanded group.
I think the talent gap between 1 and 12 is a lot closer than we've ever seen before.
Yes. There's not a truly like generational talent right now that you could just be like, there's not an AB right now. There's not a Julio, there's not a Calvin right now. There's not a Larry. There's some guys that are on that trajectory. I mean, Devontae Adams at his peak, right? Like there's some guys that are going to be Hall of Famers, but there's no one that's like, hey, this guy's in a tier of his own. Besides, like Jamar Chase isn't in a tier of his own. He's with some other really good guys, but he's the one that you could potentially say, yeah, but also Justin Jefferson, most yards per game ever. So
don't forget it.
Again, I don't think people realize how big of a deal that is.
What have you done for me lately, I guess, is the question. And
he just had 7 catches for 120 yards.
There you go. Yeah, he's in the conversation. All right, well, a guy that's just on the fringe of this conversation, and he's definitely emerging as a Dynasty wide receiver 1, And how does he fit into Dallas's future, Chev? George Pickens has quickly become one of the most exciting young wide receivers in Dynasty football. He recent streak of 5 consecutive games with a touchdown, and a career high 6 on the season highlight his ability to produce at a high level consistently. He has been the Cowboys wide receiver 1 without CeeDee Lamb in the lineup. However, Dynasty managers must consider how Dallas's offense will evolve once all their weapons return, and it looks like it's going to be happening this week. How will it affect Pickens' target share moving forward? Given his current production and potential, where do you rank Pickens, Chev, in Dynasty right now? Does he have that long-term upside as a top 10 wide receiver? Obviously, if he stays with Dallas or not. If he leaves Dallas, he's a bona fide wide receiver 1 for sure. I'd love to hear your take on Pickens' trajectory playing out this year, but also in the future now.
So Jeremiah has known me the longest of anybody here, and I have been like pounding the table to talk about how good George Pickens is for years. And so to get this actually the way that this has played out over the course of these first 6 games has been so vindicating that people who were just like, he's just like Devontae Parker, but it's like, no, man, like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, this metric says that he's just like Devontae Parker and Gabe Davis. I'm like, shut up, nerd. There you go. So honestly, I think Pickens should be him and Tedoroa McMillan would be in the same tier with me for right now. And that speaks volumes about where I thought I would be if George Pickens was still on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But again, this is a reminder that in Dynasty, situations change so much. You bet on the talent and you'll come out good, or at least get a return on investment. So at this point, playing the contract game, you got to be a little bit trepidatious about paying for what you're getting in ceiling outcome right now, because if he doesn't stay with the Cowboys, if he goes back to an environment that's not a literal top 5 pass environment, Dak's first in attempts, like 4th in red zone attempts. He's 2nd in the league in end zone targets right now. It is the perfect run out for George. This is a perfect scenario. So honestly, I would put him he's firmly ahead of a guy like T. Higgins or Devonta Smith if he stays in Dallas. If he stays in Dallas, he's probably closer to wide receiver 10 to 12 than he is, 16 to 18. If he goes somewhere else, it lowers the value a little bit. So that's the thing. And Jeremiah and I talked about this on, our other show. You have to be willing to sell after this season if you want to guarantee a profit, because it could tank again. Well, and his personality is very volatile. It's a ticking time bomb.
Sure. Yeah.
Can I throw some names?
Yeah.
AJ Brown.
George Pickens.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Marvin Harrison Jr.
George Pickens.
Xavier Worthy.
George Pickens.
Did I say Zay Flowers?
Yeah.
No. George Pickens.
Yep. Okay. Lab McConkey.
George Pickens.
Garrett Wilson.
I was George Pickens anyway.
Tedoroa McMillan.
They're the same tier.
Okay, so that gets us to, we were talking about the last segment, the top 12. That puts him right at 13, 14, and he's the wide receiver 2
right
on the Dallas Cowboys. So you're right there on track, and the only volatility is what's going on with the contract situation and him being like this.
Right.
Possible.
So you think he's less valuable elsewhere? On
it
another.
Would depend. He would have to go to an environment where, okay, so say like he goes to, like, for some reason the Colts ship off.
I was just gonna say the Colts. What I honestly was the one team that came to my mind as you were.
Hey, same brain, hive mind, Dynasty Pulse. We got the pulse.
Daniel Jones.
We are absolutely cooking right now. So
Totally. Great show, guys. This is
here's
awesome.
the thing. With the Colts and Daniel Jones at the helm with Shane Steichen, wide receiver 1, you could be looking at a situation where he's got 140 targets to himself, or it's him, Josh Downs, and Adonai Mitchell, and he's the alpha now, but he's surrounded with a perfect environment with Tyler Warren, and he's commanding 140 to 150 targets, and he could inch up further in like top 5 to 6. But you also could go back, turn light off, because you're not gonna like this. Say he ends up taking a bag from a team like the Titans
or the Cleveland Browns.
And we had church music a minute ago. Okay,
yeah,
keep going.
this is grunge, sad boy, emo, like screamo, like this is nails on a chalkboard for my soul right now. If he goes to an environment where he's not going to have stable quarterback play, he's not going to have a reliable play caller, he's not going to have the infrastructure of winning, and he becomes malcontent with the environment again and starts acting out, then it craters and he goes back to where he was around like Dynasty wide receiver 30. So the talent and the situation, he can overcome it to an extent, but not from a points per game perspective, just from like a highlight perspective. But the value of what he'll actually give you won't be worth what you'd have to pay for him. But right now, if you wanted to get out, you can definitely get out for way more than what he could be worth if the situation changes again.
Yeah. What about
but I would ride the roller. I've been on the roller coaster and it's finally going up. It got pretty dark.
Yeah.
Got pretty dark.
Really dark. I mean, I think we've seen his floor, if anything, with the Steelers. Like, I think that's his floor. So I mean, he goes to a place like Cleveland or Tennessee. I think that's his floor. Maybe even a bit better than.
Honestly, I think it could be better.
I think next year if it does, some improvements on his second year, a better situation than Cam Ward was. That Pickens was ever in Pittsburgh. So I like this as being, a situation where I really like George Pickens moving forward. And I was a guy that was against him 3 years ago when he was, had those issues with his temperament, and Deontay Johnson was just a thorn in his side. And I didn't see the separation. He's definitely shown me a lot in the last little while, and for me to become a George Pickens truther has come a long way. I'd love to see him in a place like the Commanders as well. I see that as an opportunity that next year, potentially Debo won't be there. McLaurin is an aging guy. That could be an opportunity for him to lay it up. There's a bunch of teams that are in need of a wide receiver one.
New England.
Oh baby,
I mean,
yeah.
Diggs' contract is decent. Like that's like wide receiver 2 money for Diggs. So I mean, if George Pickens was to get they could probably do $30 million for George Pickens, but that wouldn't be how they would build their team out. I would love that for Drake Maye, because that would be like Randy Moss and Tom Brady reincarnated. It would make Bills fans sad all over again. It'd be so good.
That's awesome, guys. What a great dialogue we had on just 3 questions. Now I think it's time to get into our stock up, stock down for our viewers, because a lot has changed over a week, and I love this segment because we really get into the nitty gritty of what's really happening in the dynasty world. And let's get in on this. Schulte, why don't you get started with your stock up?
Okay, I will. It's Trevor Lawrence for me, and yeah, I'm a homer, but we are watching improvement, comfortability, holy crap words, in the scheme and coaching. It's all coming together here for Trevor. So I think we are seeing a literal stock up, but I also think you're looking at a great buy low window, because Trevor's never going to have the community's respect. Like, you're always going to be able to buy low on this guy no matter what's happening. So he's literal stock up. And he's also a great buy low candidate. You look at weeks 1 to 3, he completed 55.8% of his passes, 232 yards a game, total yards per game, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Last 3 weeks, 67.3 completion percentage, 241 total yards per game, so a little bit of an uptick there, but 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. That also includes this game the past weekend, which Trevor saw the most pressure of any quarterback in any game since 2022. He threw for 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, and didn't turn the ball over. We've watched defenses put on that kind of pressure and absolutely ruin Tom Brady, absolutely ruin Patrick Mahomes. Like, you name the quarterback, that kind of pressure will ruin a guy for a game. He fought through it. He still put out a pretty good day. You are literally watching Liam Cohen's coaching come through here. And I don't want to hear another nerd say anything about first read target share out of this guy. That was the lamest thing people ran with. This is an offense that runs 20% screens. Yeah, your first read target's going to be pretty high when you're throwing screens 1/5 of the time. Like, get out of here with that. This week against the Seahawks, on 3rd and 4th down, he averaged 10.7 yards to go and converted nearly 40% of those. 10.7 yards on 3rd and 4th down was his average, and he put up a pretty respectable normal 3rd down number. So, I mean, like I said, the coaching's coming through. You're watching it. Brian Thomas is growing like that. That's coming back a little bit. There's a lot to like here as he gets comfortable in this offense. And there were reasons the numbers were down early. Early in the offense, we're still learning here. Like week 1, he hardly did anything. The Jags ran for 200 yards. They had a lightning break in the second quarter and then a halftime break, and everybody was flat, like except for the running backs just pounding the ball all night. So there were reasons the numbers were down, but he's been very good with the football as of late, and arrows pointing up. Go buy him for cheap because chances are somebody doesn't care and they think highly less of Trevor.
Like me. And the one thing you got out of that, I think I kind of blanked out after the first couple of minutes, but you said Trevor never, and I'm gonna patent that one. Trevor equals never in my books. All
right, well, have fun then.
I will get have fun. I will have lots of fun.
I will.
No cares. I'll be fine. All right. Let's go with Coach. Who's your?
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. A little robot on my end. Sorry. Harold Fannin Jr. Stock up, baby. David Njoku has a knee injury he's dealing with, and of course, you want to be careful with players who may end up getting traded. There could be some more care. All I'm saying is, I love Fridays in the NFL all year round. There's a lot of news that happens on Fridays, and I have fond memories of Carlos Hyde getting traded on a Friday, and me picking up Nick Chubb on a Friday on the waiver wire in so many leagues his rookie season. So I just have that nice thought in the back of my head. It may not happen this week, but Friday trades, just be on the lookout. Hopefully we get something tomorrow as it airs anywhere. I'm not even talking about just this 1-for-1 situation of Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr., but it would be cool. Now, with that said, Fannin leads the Browns, 28 receptions, 254 receiving yards. That's over Jerry Jeudy. All right, Cedric Tillman. All right, that's most in Browns history as a rookie. So hat tip to Harold Fannin Jr. there. Dylan Gabriel targets tight ends, the position as a whole, 35% of the time. So if we take out David Njoku, we're getting some of that goodness extra hyper towards Harold Fannin Jr. Fannin is the target hog. He plays Miami this week. This could be a trampoline game where he gets that extra bounce from no David Njoku, that soft matchup, the 35% target share, 2 tight ends, and the Dolphins are 31st ranked against the pass. We're hearing stuff about weather. That stuff tends to fluctuate and change so far out from now towards Sunday, and it really does take a lot to impact. So I really love Harold Fannin Jr. to just be a PPR scam at the very least this week. And I also see the trajectory. It doesn't matter whether Njoku plays this week or next, or the picture is coming clear that it will be Harold Fannin Jr., will be guys like Quinshon Judkins. There's a path for what's new and happening future versus what's going to rotate out. I love David Njoku. I had a hot take on him. I thought he was going to be a top 3. And if you look back all last season with Jameis Winston, it was hot. But such is life. But the position, we were directionally correct in the fact that you're getting it out of the Browns tight end position, but it's in the beautiful prospect that you have all been very high on in Harold Fannin Jr. So stock up on him. I'm loving it.
Love it.
Hey, and if it's super windy, I mean, you gotta love the fact that I feel like half his targets are like 3 yards deep, so we're good.
PPR, baby. Yo.
We're a fan in house here, I think, on the Dynasty Pulse, and we're excited to see him. And the fact that he was able to do such work with Njoku in the lineup, and now with him out and potentially out for good. When you think about the trade possibilities here, I love where your head's at, Jeremiah and Chev. I think we've talked a little bit about your stock up, but maybe you can reinforce that right now.
Yeah. George Pickens is my stock up because his stock's way up. I mean, again, he's been the wide receiver 1 the past 4 weeks. Overall, this is the first time he's had consistent quarterback play in his career. He's been viewed as one of the most talented receivers in the NFL, a success rate on deep balls at the highest rate in the NFL since entering the NFL. And now he's getting to do more complete wide receiver stuff and proving that he can do that. Well, just in time for him to get paid. It's really convenient how that happens. So, you know, he's a 24-year-old wide receiver who's in the best environment for a wide receiver. Bad offense, you know, bad defense, veteran quarterback, like play caller, coach, you know, play caller, quarterback, simpatico. So right now, George Pickens' stock could be as high as it's ever going to go, but I would bet on talent and say that he's probably going to pay this off continually if the environment stays good.
Yeah, and I think he's a smart enough man to realize where his worth is at. So hopefully a team will pay him. That's going to throw him the ball a lot.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would just want to bring him around just to run block.
Exactly. All right, so my stock up is a guy that I got a lot of shares of. I had a lot of Cam Skattebo, Puka, and Jaxson Dart shares after that round, but I'm going to talk about Cam Skattebo because his wait-and-see stage is now done. 8 weeks from now, you'll be either in the fantasy playoffs or shifting your gaze towards the 2026 draft boards. But today, I'm looking at Cam Skattebo, and look at what he's done in his short time. Yes, he's a bruiser, and we're always going to have to worry about him being in and out of the lineup. But he's behind a pretty healthy offensive line, and his physicality has transformed the New York offensive identity, him and Jaxson Dart, which we talked about earlier. And in Dynasty, that is the kind of role that is gold. He's RB11 in scoring through 6 weeks, averaging 16 fantasy points per game, 6.1 rush TD rate. Awesome. 12.7 target share, which is great. He was always touted as a guy that could catch passes, even though he's a stocky little guy. 4th in red zone carries. And I just think he's a force to be reckoned with moving forward. And I love the dynamic they have, that new identity there in New York. It's contagious, and I'm all aboard the Cam Skattebo train, and I was on his train earlier this offseason when people were talking about him and Tyrone Tracy, and I was always a Cam Skattebo guy. So seeing what he does in the next little while. I know he's got a tough matchup this week, but things will be gravy for him moving forward. All right, let's power through these stock downs. Schulte, let's start us off, bud.
Yeah, I'm just double Jags today, and the stock down on Travis Hunter, and Chev is the guy who is, speaking of leading trains, is the guy who said, hey, this may take longer than you think. Yeah. And people are very impatient.
Thanks, Chev.
Just start lowballing people. Just lowball the crap out of people for Travis Hunter. They're probably pissed off they drafted him. And you could probably take advantage of that. The performance at receiver will come around. Dion came out and said at Colorado, all they did was tell him where to line up and what route to run. So NFL receivers coming in as rookies, like trying to learn the playbook, is already pretty tricky. And we're trying to do it with a guy who's playing defense and also didn't do an ounce of like normal offensive function before. It was like, hey, just go do this. Like, the learning curve is extremely steep, and we're seeing it. We're seeing the him lining up wrong, the motion stuff where Trevor yells at him because he's doing the wrong motion. It's all happening. It's not great, but it's all part of him learning. And the stuff we all loved about him has flashed. He has caught 20 passes, and he is 5th in the league in missed tackles force among wide receivers. Okay, 8 missed tackles force on 20 receptions. So he did it Monday night against the Chiefs. He caught a ball in the flat with 2 guys within 4 yards of him. He juked them both back to back and went for a first down on like a 3rd and long or something. It was stupid. We saw the same game. Trevor threw it deep and he highballed 2 dudes and went and got it. Like, the ball skills are real. The twitchiness is like Kadarius Toney if he actually was good. And we've seen the flashes. Just go lowball people for this guy. Like, it's gonna come around.
Schultz, I mean, look, I feel like we're saying you said stock down, but really it's time to stock up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Legitimately, it's time to stock up, because here's the thing. I never once said that Travis Hunter was not a great player. That's not the thing. What I wanted to caution people against was like, hey, he didn't actually have to learn the profession of playing receiver. He's just an incredible athlete that lined up at receiver. So this could take a while, especially with a guy like Liam Cohen, with the level of attention to detail that he has in his background. So they're using him and getting him the ball in space, and you can clearly see there's some special stuff going on. Like you said, it's like Kadarius Toney if he wasn't born with Megan Fox thumbs for fingers. So, like, I really think that Travis Hunter is a guy that you absolutely need to be buying as much of as humanly possible if people are willing to sell, because it's gonna happen. It just might have taken a little bit longer. So it might not even fully actualize until 2026 or even 2027 before he's like a wide receiver 1, if that's in his range of outcomes, playing both positions full time. So if he's not having a full route share, your fantasy options are limited. So that's all that we're saying. The talent is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you have some people who don't listen to guys like us, and they're panicking right now. We take advantage of that panic. So Travis Hunter, stock up, but stock down.
I love it. All right, Coach. Let's hear your stock down, buddy.
A stock down. Tua, Tagovailoa, so low. Tua. All right. There's going to be a theme here, man. 24th in fantasy points per game. 24th in fantasy points per drop back. 23rd in expected fantasy points per game. I could just be changing these numbers between the 20s because it's cheeks. 28th in best ball points added. 24th in yards per attempt. 0 rushing floor. Tua with fantasy finishes of 18th or worse in 5 games this year. Just a 1 QB1 performance, week 5 versus the Panthers. Nothing impressive. QB9 on the week there. Will possibly lose Jalen Waddle. There are heinous Devon Achane rumors out there too. No one is safe. Certainly not Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins might sell all the copper in their house. That's how much it's going to be bad for Tua. And this is a big problem that I've had with the NFL is we always reset the market to this player's getting 50. So whoever's a free agent and happens to just be a free agent quarterback and somewhat good to above average, or they put out one amazing year, they get paid as if it's disrespectful to the top tier quarterbacks, but it pushes everybody up. So a rising tide financially does lift all boats. But we're talking about players who they get the bag financially. And it could be Trevor Lawrence, it could be Tua. And it's like, when will teams just say, you know what, we're going to walk away, or you can take $30 million a year, still be rich and set for life. We'll sign you up for the next 5 years, but we're not paying you $50 million. We're not paying you $60. We're not going to push, when you're basically a quarterback too, just because we want to have this thirst to have, and this is a franchise problem. You just settle for a guy who might be able to get you 10 wins, a playoff seed, and then bounce out in the first round. And you don't even have that because it's just gone down way downhill, down the toilet. So yeah, he's an absolute dynasty stock down, and he's not a stock up. He's just cratering. And if you could get something liquidated for sure, but good luck with that.
Good luck. All right, Chev, what is your stock down, bro? It hurts my ears. I can already tell.
Listen, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
It's been a tough show, but a good one.
It's Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson.
You said that about as small as the letters on his jersey.
That's that's a quality. That's quality right there. So it's been the nightmare scenario where we saw this with Treylon Burks and Mike Vrabel in his days in Tennessee, where he just has this rookie and he just won't. It's like, nope. And even with AJ Brown was playing like 20 snaps a game for the first 12 weeks of his rookie season. And he just hates rookies. And I knew this about him. And I signed up for this Travion mess anyway. And here I am upset about the decisions I made. We knew Rhamondre was going to fumble the ball. We knew Gibson was going to fumble the ball. What I didn't account for was Mike Vrabel absolutely turning on a dime and not caring about that at all anymore. And that just wasn't in my plans.
Wasn't on the bingo card. It wasn't.
So we got everything that we wanted, and then life laughed in our faces because now Rhamondre Stevenson is going to be a reliable RB2 while Travion is barely flex worthy in 2025. I hate it here, and I apologize for having to ruin your little Travion party.
Yeah, man. And I got another party I'm gonna have to take a big stinker on, and earmuffs, Chev. You know what's coming, and that sucks. But talking about
it's coming. That is so crazy.
Cam Ward. Oh man.
All right, let's get it over with.
He's broken. The situation is broken. There is no spark on the roster. There is nothing around him right now that's supposed to even give me a glimmer of hope. A fresh face, a fresh scheme, a fresh direction. Maybe now with a new OC, hopefully the Titans are hitting the reset button now, and maybe this new signal caller will help Cam Ward. That is what I'm hoping for. And complete stock down, but maybe with a glimmer of hope with the new OC that there's some stock up, but I doubt that. 30 in passer rating. Last in total offense, 31st in both passing and rushing per game, dead last, third in conversion rate, 33rd in EPA. There's a lot not going on that should be there in Tennessee, but hopefully things change there, Chev. Hopefully with the coaching change, it won't fix things, but maybe make it a little bit better. We shall see, but maybe some draft capital here, some replacement players. I don't know what the solution is.
What is this? The lockout replacement players?
Cam Ward is a stock down.
Hey, you know what? The positive here is he still puts out like 4 or 5 throws a game that you're like, all right, there it is.
There it is. Whoop. There was some optimism there for a bit, but there was some glimmer of hopes at the end of that Week 5 game. But
I'm the only one who had stock down with a positive spin tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well,
listen, no.
Yeah.
I can't let it slide.
Okay.
I was trying. This can't stand. Okay. I understand that it's not good right now. Okay. But Cam Ward is really good at football, and he's going to be good eventually. He's not in a situation that is suitable for even maybe a high school team. Okay. So we have to give him grace. We have to treat it like Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Bryce Young's rookie year. You guys
I blacked out of my mind.
Yeah. All right. That's what we have going on right now. So you guys just understand that, our time's coming. All right. Captain Cam. All right. To the moon. All right. I said it. You heard it here first. All right. But first, it's not going to be very good. So go buy him. You can probably get him for a second now. Just do what you can do. Do what you will with that information. All right. I'm done.
Well, guys, what a great show. I enjoyed all of it. I know there was some good dialogue back and forth, and hopefully our viewers got something out of it as well. Looking forward to next week. And be sure to set your lineups, folks, from all of us here on FSAN, the Undroppables Network. We're bringing you the heat on the pulse every week. And Chev, Schultze, and myself, we will sign you off. Peace out.